Could you talk a little bit about Bzduch and what he was like as a person?
Yeah, Biz was awesome. He used to, I coached with Mr. Bzduch for a long time. We coached football together. He would be Santa Claus at my kids' Christmases. Like, he was an absolute, just the biggest heart a person could have, and just so good natured, always, again, talk about a person who was always there for the good of the students. That was Mr. Bzduch, without question.
What I told his family was when I first met him, he annoyed me so bad. Sorry, forgive me. But I was in a frustrated state, and I was going into the elementary office to get my mail, and I was coming out of the office, and he was just holding the door shut so I couldn't get out, like a 12-year-old would hold the door shut, so like you can't get out, joking. And I went to go, and I'm looking at my mail, and I'm like, oh, and he's just out there smiling. And I walked away, and I'm like shaking my head, and then there were times where it would be like a quiet time in the classroom, but he'd be going down the hall swinging his keys, whistling, and I thought, oh boy, and then I thought, you know what? So I smiled, so I laughed. Maybe I did need to lighten up, and maybe that was good for me.
Yeah, I can still hear his voice sometimes. I'm sure we all could, and I will never do it in his voice, but it's sorry, or he would just run around yelling, Glumpky, Glumpky.
And then I have the most ultimate praise for him because he did driver's ed. Jamie, he took so much off me as a parent because Jamie was taught the right way to drive. He was taught to not have distractions. I don't worry about Jamie when he goes anywhere. So I have the utmost respect for the enthusiasm he brought, how many kids he helped with driver's ed and with just being him. And that was a very, very hard loss.
He was a super nice man. It was really a sadness when he died. He did a lot for students. The students meant a lot to him, and it showed. Again, unfortunately, dying is a part of life, and he lived a pretty good life. Maybe a little bit too short, but he lived a good life, a good, happy life. I can't be sad for him, or about his life, So.
Oh, everybody loved Mr. Bzduch. If anybody knew how to have fun, Mr. Bzduch knew how to have fun, and he didn't care if it was at his expense or not.
A guy like that fills a very unique role in a building. He's just kind of a larger than life figure. You hear him coming a mile away. He's just this giant source of positivity that it's hard to really, people like that don't come around all the time, So when that's gone, I guess there is a sort of void that's left there, for the rest of us to fill, or for no one to fill. Maybe there are some voids, I think, that just aren't meant to be filled.
There was no one like Bzduch. Talk about wearing your heart on your sleeve. He started the clothing closet. He was larger than life.
I think whenever somebody dies suddenly like that, it reminds you how precious life is. And I like to think that the more times that happens in your life, the better you are to other people, because you don't know. I didn't grow up with grandparents because my grandparents had passed away before I was born. So I was always, whenever I left my parents, I was always, I love you, I love you, I love you. I was always afraid that might be the last time I would see my parents, because I knew that people died. I knew that my grandparents died, So I like to think that would help people, and he wouldn't want people to feel sad and mourn him in that sense. He would want people to spread the joy and be goofy and light up other people's world and be kind because of that. And I hope that's what's happening.
He was fair. He was compassionate. He would, I remember one time there was, and I don't remember what year, but a young lady wanted to go to prom, and it was when the closet was just starting, and there weren't any prom dresses in there. So he helped buy her one. It's things like that. He just had a heart of gold and truly love the students.
It was kind of shocking. I mean, still is. And, when I find out people like that, that are close to it that way, it just makes me, just know how important it is to value every day and that we have here. Because you never know, in some ways, when it could be me too. I don't know really much more I can say about Dennis right now.
Bzduch? Oh man, Bzduch is still impacting people here. I miss that dude. It was awful when it happened, and I really miss him as a person, but it really gives me hope that even now in 2024, his presence is still here. The loft is bigger than it has ever been. We are constantly able to help people in need because of the efforts that he made while he was still with us. So even though he's no longer here, dude is still making an impact, and we miss him a lot.
What do you like best about working here at York?
I love the kids. They're great individuals with good work ethics. I love them to death, and I feel like I'm wanted here at York.